Welcome back to another Bear and Egg review. This time I've got a real treat. I feel like I've been waiting 28 years to say this. Here goes. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you ED-209. This is the 10-inch ED-209 unit from the movie Robocop. This is by NECA Toys. It's designed to be in scale with all the 7-inch scale NECA figures that are out there. Here's the Robocop right here. It just came out about a year or so ago. If you want my, before we get into the review, if you want the fast verdict, you know, I try to do my verdict, buy or don't buy, at the beginning of every video. That way you don't have to wait till the end. So the fast verdict. All right, here it is. NECA, where were you during my childhood? Where were you? This is it. This is what I would have paid everything I had back in 1986, 87 when I was a kid and I had just seen this movie. I mean, I sat there saying to myself, where is this toy? Where is this toy? Why hasn't anyone made this? You know, there actually was a toy. I have to find a picture of it, and maybe I'll put it up to show you guys. There was a toy, a crappy little thing, but this is it. Okay, so articulation. This thing has got articulation out the wazoo. We'll start from the top to bottom. I'm going to do two articulation segments here. What is articulated and then what isn't articulated for movie accuracy. Now don't get confused here. This is when I get to the part about what's not articulated. These are not complaints. All right, I'm just doing a comparison to screen accuracy because this thing is so screen accurate. So here we go. These flaps up here, these raise and lower in the film. These raise and lower depending on whether he's getting ready to shoot his guns or not. You'll notice in the film when he's taking aim, when his guns zero down on somebody, these will lower down or raise up to accommodate. The elbows here, I'm saying elbows, I don't know what to call these. These, you've got this motion, and then you've got rotational this way. So you've got this hinged joint, and then this way, and then the gun itself rotates. And this is important because generally in the film, these guns are only really seen at this angle, like this and like this. You see how these kind of create lines? But you can rotate it all the way around. The rockets are. This is just. God, this is amazing articulation. Only NECA, man. Only NECA. Okay, I'm going to push these back down and in. I have a feeling a lot of people are confused about these. I'm going to go ahead and take a screwdriver, a little micro screwdriver. I want everybody to see how this works. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people kind of pop it out like this. Okay, you see that? And it doesn't seem to want to budge anywhere else. NECA stuff is generally sticky. It's sticky. I don't know a better way to. And NECA stuff, people know it's easy to break NECA toys too. A lot of people, I think when the first Gears of War and some of the early Predators, the elbows would break. I'm holding a Robocop, but I'm talking about a different character line. The elbows would break, shoulders would pop. You know, it's easy to break some of the NECA because of the plastic that's used or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so people are scared, but you gotta. I'm gonna clear this all up for you guys. To loosen this up, there's a little port here. See? There's no room out here or out here, but this port right here. It's like, I don't know if you can see in the camera. This little. Well, I'm gonna slide this up so you can see. See this port right here? Get a little flathead screwdriver and get in there. And basically, mine's already loosened up, so I'm just showing you how to loosen yours up. So get in there and push on it. Push it up like that. You see? So it's just like the movie now. In the movie, there's the scene. I'll show it to you guys. There's the scene where Robocop is running away from ED-209, and the missiles, they pop out and then up. So once this is loosened up, don't be thinking that you can just go willy-nilly on this. The way I raise it, once I loosen mine up, I give it support down here, support up here, and I move it as a whole unit. I pop it out a little bit, and then I move it as a whole unit. I never grab the top and just pull it. I get under there with my fingers. See, I'm all the way. My fingers flush with that little slot. So I'm supporting all the plastic all the way up as this extends to the top like that. And the same thing on the way down. Don't just push it down with your thumb like this. I'm doing it because I've got it all loosened. I'm not worried about it. But really, when you're pushing it back down, grab the whole unit, support this little plastic stem that's hanging, that it's connected to, and move it down as a unit back in and seat it back in there. So that's another point of articulation. Okay, you've got a little bit of motion here. That's fine. That's fine. You never saw him in the movie spin his head all the way around. So this is totally acceptable. I'd call it screen accurate. Then you got the legs rotate on this joint right here, and then here's another piece of articulation I don't think a lot of people have found. You really got to exert force to loosen this joint up, but right here, you see this? And this is in the movie. This is critical articulation. There's articulation that's left out. These guys, NECA, left out some of the articulation, but not critical stuff. This is critical. You need this if you want to do any photo shoots or reenact any scenes or do stop motion. I don't know what people do with these, but this allows the legs to straddle things, and you know, when it's negotiating stairs, or even when it's just pivoting. The ED-209 never just pivots to find somebody. He never just turns his head. He, you know, like when Mr. Kinney, the famous scene, points his gun, he pops up like this. He pops up and then takes a step like this. So his legs kind of, like one leg goes up and he rotates. This is really hard. I should just do it stop motion. So anyway, so this is critical, but you're going to have to, when you do this, you're going to have to support the whole structure, okay? The whole structure. Get a good purchase on it with your hand. And hold. You see how I'm bracing with my hands? Do you see this? Okay? Because you're going to break it. You don't want to break this thing. These are expensive. So get the whole thing and really support everything as you turn it. Support this piece, support this, and give it a good hard turn. Okay, and then the next articulation is this elevation. It's like an elevator here that allows him to raise or lower his overall height. Since he doesn't have a knee joint that bends to allow him to stand, this is sort of in place of the knee joint. This is really stiff, as it should be. It should be stiff. You don't want that loosey-goosey, and then every time you pose him, it falls down. So don't, before you complain about how stiff this is, think about, it's kind of a good thing. And then, let's see, I believe that is it. Okay, so let's get to what's not articulated. Okay, so things in the movie that are articulated that are not articulated on this guy are I'm going to call them ammunition boxes. That's probably inaccurate. I don't know what else to call these kind of boxes here. In the movie, they expand. So they expand, they kind of rotate. When he locks his guns, they pop out and they go out like this. Another thing that happens is when he's aiming his guns or he's getting ready to threat or deliver threats to a suspect, these extend out. So these gun arms, they would extend out or in, sort of almost like he's focusing. Now that's okay, because if you're doing any stop motion or photography, you still have this where he can kind of zero down, this range of motion where he can zero down on somebody, so that's cool. Another piece of missing articulation. Again, none of this is a big deal. I don't care. I'm just pointing it out because this is so well done. This is screen accurate for me, and so now that we're at that level, at that measuring stick, at the measuring stick of screen accurate, we're going to point out what's not screen accurate. That's all that this is. I don't think I need to say again, I am in love with this. So these would have flapped down. These are not articulated, so don't try to bend them or bust them. They look like they're articulated. There's hinges and everything. They are not. These flaps, they're like caps that cap down when he lowers his total height. Let me see, like when he goes at rest in the film, these legs, the extensions go all the way down. The elevators drop all the way down, and then this slams down and clasps here. And then this rotating cylinder here would spin around and lock, as would these cylinders here. These would spin around and kind of lock down as well. And finally, the other thing that's not articulated is the toes. Now again, the toes, I'll be honest, I'm not complaining, but I was hoping to be able to play with there's a scene in Robocop later in the movie where ED-209 gets the whole upper half of him blown off, and it's just a set of legs, and he's upside down. The legs are upside down, and the one toe is going tick 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 like that. I thought I was going to get to play with that. I didn't get to play with that. It's not articulated, but that's okay. Any kind of step ladder. Let's see if I have something here. So as you can see, I've got him on Tony Stark's laboratory platform here, because there's a step right up here. So as he's stepping down here, and this leg is left behind on the upper step. You can see as the leg is angled and the toes are angled, just the way they're sculpted, it looks like the toes are kind of clasping around the front of the step here. I'll get my light. So I don't think the toes not being articulated are that big of a deal. So I think they look great no matter how you pose it. So not a problem. Alright, so don't kill me here. This is a sloppy, rough stop motion. I had to do it just to show you how well articulated this thing and how critical the certain joints that they did articulate, how critical they really are to animating this thing. You really can get them into any pose that you want. So here's a really interesting thing that came with this guy. NECA actually included sound effects, like movie sound effects, with this figure. So I mean, this is that's huge. So here they are. It's directly from the movie. I'll play a couple. So it starts out with this, the power-up sequence. And then it's got the threats. He's threatening the guy with the gun. And it's got a couple more. There's a further threat. And then finally the shooting. He shoots the guy. And it goes on and on and on. It's actually from the extended version of Robocop. I was originally I don't know if I should even talk over this. But yeah, Robocop was originally X-rated. He got an X rating on the first draft because of that long sequence where he's just shooting and shooting and shooting that office worker. And then they shortened the shooting down, thus giving it an R rating. Most of the versions that you get on DVD or Blu-ray are an extended version anyway, so extended version is kind of not so special anymore. Even on Netflix, I think it was always the extended version, the uncut. They call it the uncut version. I don't know. It was a big deal when I heard about it in the 80s, but now that it's everywhere, I don't even know if you can get a non-uncut version. Anyway, so that was nice of them to do. Only NECA, man. Like I said, only freaking NECA. And the other thing about that sound effect that we just heard, the shooting one, if you listen closely, you can hear the screams of the women in the office, or maybe some of the men too. It sounded like female voices, but they didn't bother to clean up the audio from the original movie scene. Like, if you buy the Millennium Falcon from Hasbro, the big Millennium Falcon, there's a lot of movie scene quotes where you can see they've done a lot of scrubbing on the audio and removed background music from scenes. So you hear Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi all talking about things, and a lot of the background noise and background music that was originally in the scene has been scrubbed out. They did a great job of editing, but NECA actually left. They didn't scrub the machine gun sounds at all from that extended sequence. You can hear the women screaming in the background when you hit the button on this guy. And if it was Hasbro, I would fault them. I don't know. I hate having a double standard, but I do. NECA is crazy, man. They're just crazy. They're like total cult horror fans, total cult sci-fi fans. You know that was on purpose. You know they must have had a meeting. Said, should we scrub out the screams of the women while this guy gets mowed down in gunfire? No. The answer was probably no in the boardroom. No, leave it. Only NECA. And then you've got this bonus sound. It's the sound where Robocop shows up in the parking lot of OCP headquarters, and ED-209 confronts him, tells him, you can hear him walking towards Robocop. Now, the only problem I have with these sound effects, I shouldn't even say I have a problem. Like I said, we're lucky we even got these sound effects. But these sound effects are a little tinny sounding. I think it's because the speaker is right here in the mouth. And so it's not much of a megaphone, you know. I think the mouth is kind of choking the sound and making it sound tinny. But if I do this, let me put the mouth right up on the speaker of the camera and see if it sounds a lot, if it's got a lot more volume to it. I think that sounds pretty good. I think it's really just a matter of them perfecting the speaker placement. I think it's excellent. Like I said, I feel lucky that we even got it. So another thing to talk about here is paint apps. They really went all out. They just, balls to the wall, total screen accurate paint apps. I guess the first thing would be the wash. All around here, all throughout, you can see there's this wash. Now, when we talk about wash, what we're talking about, for those who don't know, wash is where you take black paint and thin it out, like really, really thin it out, like with turpentine or some sort of a cutting agent, something to a thinning agent, and then just kind of drip it in all the little wells and little depressions. So you see, it's been painted that metallic color on the surface of the unit, and then they've kind of allowed dark thin paint to just kind of leach into the little cracks. That's a wash, and this has got such a great wash. I mean, geez, man. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Get in there and look at that. Oh man, just great job. Another thing I really like, as I'm turning this around, you notice there's like warning labels everywhere. Like painted ones, things that look like they might be stickers. They could have been decals. No, they didn't cheap out on us. They could have cheaped out if they wanted. These are not decals. These are painted on. Just all out. Look on here. I mean, gosh, man. I mean, look. And for anyone that thinks that these are maybe some of this is just kind of fabricated or imagined because maybe it didn't show on screen in the movie. This is totally accurate. If it was in the movie, here's another one here. They just keep creeping up on you. Look at that, right in there. If it was in the movie, or if it was on the original model for the movie, then it's on this model. Gosh, look at they're just everywhere. Look at this one. Look at that little, like, looks like some missing fingers. I guess it's like keep your hands clear warning. I don't know, but just excellent work. And here's something I really like, and this is another example of NECA going all out when they could have cheaped out on us. I don't know how I think this is coming out on camera. I'm gonna just kind of tilt this flat surface here. All the surfaces have this. It's this iridescent bluish gray metal paint on everything. Here, look at the arms, like this iridescent kind of shimmering paint job. Now this is exactly what ED-209 had, and Robocop too. Robocop had it too, and NECA did just a knockout job on doing that for Robocop. I have both Robocops. This is a Robocop with a spring-loaded holster, and then I have the earlier one that came out before this guy without, and they're both slightly different iridescent paint jobs, but both just function as screen accurate. So yeah, if you can see it here, they could easily gotten away with doing just gunmetal gray, just gunmetal gray or gunmetal blue, and they didn't. Another thing I really love, I don't know if this would count as paint apps, just texture, is this dome. Man, when I first saw this movie, I guess it was 1986 or 87, I think it was 86. I saw it on home video. My parents wouldn't let me see it in the theater. It was R-rated and I wasn't of age. But this dome, I don't know. Maybe there's something I can just run across. You hear that zipper sound? The dome feels, the tactile sensation, the dome feels. This texture is sculpted. It feels exactly as I imagined as a kid when I first saw this movie, as I imagined it might feel if I were to run my hand over the real full-size item, the full-size model in the movie. This is just the cross-hatched little... I'll just zoom in. You know what? I'll just give you a still photo. It's just so well done. So many things they could have cheaped out on, and they didn't. Now this comes in a blind box. There are no windows at all in the packaging, and that's fine. Instead, you get this great. You've got some original artwork that NECA has provided here, along with pictures of the item. And here's some cool stuff. They reenacted one of the scenes from the movie using NECA Toys. This does appear to be NECA Robocop right here, and the NECA ED-209. So that's pretty cool. They actually went ahead and did the pieces of masonry, and I think there's rebar. Maybe no, that's broken glass in the scene when he destroys the interior of OCP headquarters. Really great looking box. You got ED-209. I don't know who did the painting. It says Jason at the bottom here. I can look it up later. But it looks like you got ED-209 just sort of tear-assing through the parking lot of the headquarters. So yeah, this is actually special order only, online order only. You can't get this at a realtor. Normally, if any of you are regular NECA collectors like myself, you will find that your most common, reliable, regular retailer is going to be Toys R Us. Toys R Us seems to be the only retailer who regularly carries NECA toys. In this case, this was a limited run and only available online. I got mine through Big Bad Toy Store, bbts.com. So here we are at the end of the video. My verdict, I already gave you my verdict at the beginning of the video. That was the quick version. The long version, I'll just extrapolate on what I already said. This is a must-have. Must-have. This is, I rarely will say that about something. This is definitely a must-have. They're going for $70 right now if you add shipping and everything. Once it's all totaled up, it's about 70 bucks. I got mine at bbts.com. That's Big Bad Toy Store. I get it before it runs out. That's all I gotta say. Wherever you get it, I don't care where you buy it, but get it before they're gone. You don't want to be left behind on this one. If you're a NECA collector or if you're just a Robocop fan, definitely get this. All right. Well, let me put it this way. I don't know if this is saying a lot or not. Depends on how much credence you put into my my opinion, my film credentials. But I'm gonna say this. I have Robocop, the movie, in my top 10 list of films. And this is coming from a guy who at least thinks he knows film. I went to art school, went through film school. I've worked in the film industry. I think I know film. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't know anything, and that's possible too. There's a lot of people that know more than me. But my top 10 list includes, the artsy-fartsy films, the high art, sophisticated stuff. That said, it also includes Robocop, right there in the top 10 list of my best favorite films. So I consider myself, because of that, I consider myself a Robocop superfan. Definitely a huge fan of Robocop. And with all of that, I would still say that this one is so good. This NECA ED-209 is so good. Even being a Robocop superfan, I'd say that this is so good that you could stop here. You could collect this ED-209 and this Robocop from NECA and stop there. Never move up to Hot Toys, the 12-inch scale stuff. You stop right here with NECA and still consider yourself a super fan, a Robocop super fan. That's just coming from me. I don't know how much, like I said, how much credence you want to put in that opinion, but these are that good. The next level up, the Hot Toys stuff, is really, you're at the level of film, a studio scale model, a studio model. I mean, you could put it on film. It looks exactly like the Hot Toys one looks exactly like what they use for the actual film. All the articulation is there and everything. I'd say this is good enough. Absolutely. Well, thanks again for watching, and take care.